Welcome to the Courage to Be podcast. I am your host, Tanya Vasallo.
Today you have me. No interviews. We've changed a little bit the format. I've spoken to many of you, and I've heard by popular demand that you would like to hear some other podcasts about me and the lessons I've learned in my life versus just having interviews on the podcast. So we're trying something out. It's experimental. You know that I love doing this on the podcast. And today's episode and the topic is all about courage, right? The name of the podcast is The Courage to Be. And we've had many wonderful, amazing guests on the podcast talking about their courageous moments in life, whether it was overcoming health obstacles, and responding to life-threatening diagnosis, to women entrepreneurs getting their business started, or going through moments of crisis in our lives. The courage comes out in those moments of when we need to tap into that deeper part of ourselves to bring out, because I'm a big believer that we all have that courage within us and we have to tap into it every so often. So it's almost like I see courage with the capital C and with the lowercase c, right? Are you tapping into courage on a daily basis? And that might be with the lowercase c. It's getting out of your comfort zone, doing those uncomfortable things that you might have to do on a daily basis. Maybe it's making a phone call. I remember in my last event, we had a woman, and right off the bat from the event, I don't normally do this, but I had people stand up and share something unique about themselves. And the first three people were introverts, and the third person that had to go, she was panicking because she said that she had not taken her anxiety pill for being around so many people at the event. And despite that, she stood up and she spoke and she shared that with us vulnerably. So I ask you, what have been those moments of courage? Are you tapping into courage on a daily basis, and are you aware of it? Because many of us, we might be doing some courageous acts on a daily basis, but we're not even paying attention to it. We're not even aware of it. So it's a great exercise to be thinking on a daily basis, am I stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something courageous? And it can be as simple, like I said, of standing up in an event when you don't want to speak in public. It could be, and that's big, it could be smaller where you're picking up the phone and making that unwanted phone call, that phone call that it might not even be like a dreaded phone call, but it could be something that it's like, I don't want to make this call to fix my car or something like that. Maybe that's something that's difficult for you. So think about it. If you're not doing these moments of courage, you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. If we don't step out of our comfort zone and we're not stepping into our courage, we're not growing. So really, really consider, go back on this week and think about what moments of courage that you step into, what things that you do that were a little bit uncomfortable. I always say to my clients, you have to get comfortable in doing things that are uncomfortable. I'll repeat that again. It's a tongue twister. You have to get comfortable in doing things that are uncomfortable. So as you're moving through your days, if you want to be growing, because there's only two ways to be moving through life. It's either you're growing because you're expanding, because you're getting uncomfortable and tapping into that side of courage, or you're dying because you're not moving forward. And we are all for the expansion of life. We just have it within us as human beings. And so let's talk a little bit about not just courage and confidence. I get that question a lot. What comes first, courage or confidence? What do you think comes first for you? Is it confidence or is it courage? In my book, I think you need to tap into courage before you can acquire the confidence. And then it's kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? Once you get more confident, then you become more courageous because you have proof that you're like, oh my God, I did that. I went through that. So start thinking what your level of confidence is and what your level of courage is. If you were to rate yourself right now on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being I have zero confidence, zero courage, or 10 being I have a ton of courage and I have a ton of confidence, where do you fall on that scale? And this might be a sliding scale, right? It might be changing from day to day, week to week, and there might be those big moments, life moment decisions that require that big courage with a capital C versus the small courage, right? So if you want to build your confidence, and I see this over and over, that's one of the biggest things that we all want to constantly building our confidence. I invite you to start taking a look at where are you on that scale? What do you need to do, to build that confidence? Like that, it's going to require something courageous from you. You want to build your confidence, you need to do something that requires that courage. It might be recording a video. It might be recording a podcast like this. It might be launching a book. It might be having that talk with your partner about something that really bothered you instead of just festering with it inside. What is it that's being asked of you that requires your courage so that you can continue building your confidence? And I'd love to hear your comments. If you'd like to leave me a comment on the topic of courage, of confidence, or if you have any questions, you can always email us at help.thecouragetobe@gmail.com. And I also invite you to go onto YouTube because that's where I can see comments. Unfortunately, I can't see comments in iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, like all these other platforms. But if you enjoy this podcast, if you've enjoyed these episodes, share them with friends, leave me a review on iTunes. It helps spread the message out there. And until our next episode, have a wonderful, courageous day.
If you loved today's episode, it would mean so much if you rate and review The Courage to Be on Apple Podcast. Not only does it help the show to grow, but it also gets you in the running for something amazing. Every month, I draw one lucky winner to receive a complimentary 7-night, 8-day vacation. You'll get to pick from over 3,000 beautiful resorts worldwide. You just cover the taxes and fees like you would with a travel rewards. Airfare is not included. And if you want to double your chances, along with your Apple Podcast review, leave a couple of comments on YouTube. That counts as a second entry. Just send your screenshots to help.thecouragetobe@gmail.com and you'll find the email in the show notes too. It only takes a moment, and who knows, your next adventure might be closer than you think. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on our next episode of the Courage to Be podcast.